Welcome back to another episode of Obsidian Prince. Today we're looking at the Candlemage. The Candlemage is a fire-based magic class that uses energy to deal damage to its enemies. This class usually starts off as one of the normal classes you get while playing the roguelike mode. We're not actually going to be touching anything to do with the story mode. We're going to just be looking at these characters through the roguelike setting. Since the roguelike setting allows us to customize our builds in the ways that we want and see what works and see what doesn't work. The Candlemage is going to be focused on staying away from its enemies. We're going to want to send fireballs at them. You're going to want to set the area on fire. You're going to want to trap them in corners so that they have to move through your flame to get the most damage that you can possibly get in a turn. The Candlemage is going to excel at controlling enemies in this space. When things get close to you, of course you can do your normal attack to deal damage, but it's not as beneficial as using something like your Conflagellate, which is going to set them on fire and send them panicking around the map, which will most likely throw them into more flame traps if you have your build set up properly. Although while playing Obsidian Prince, you do have a wide range of weapons that you can use. The magic staffs or the rapiers or any of the other weapons actually will work out very well with this class. You're just going to need to modify your inspiration cards a bit and your backstories a little bit to kind of modify with those weapon changes. I recommend that you stick with the books of flame breathing that you start the game off with, because they're going to help you control areas in front of you, around you, next to you, and most of the time when you get those books, they also give you the ability to stun enemies. So you'll be able to get inspiration cards added to your deck because of those books that will allow you to stun enemies caught in flame, which will give you an extra turn of damage and an extra turn to get away or move around to do whatever you really need to. Although you can play this class as a flame warrior and just set your blade of flame and start smacking enemies and sending fire across the map, I feel like the most damage done with the class comes from setting everything on fire and setting up flame traps and just having your fields constantly covered in flames. While playing the Candlemage, you're gonna want backstories like horrific deaths, chicken on the egg, ashes to ashes, fire starter, boom, anything that kind of enhances the effects of fire or causes more fire for you. That's gonna be the bread and butter of this class. Your backstories are going to support you and your flame casting ability, getting more energy, and just surrounding everything in fire. If you get a backstory that says Conflagellate and cast more fire or put more fire on every tile that X skill passes by, or randomly generate flames in a certain area, take those skills. You're going to want those skills because they're going to allow you to control so much of the map. They're going to take over so much and that you'll just be standing there and everything is going to be burning around you. It's going to be an amazing, like, this is fine moment, and you're gonna love it because nothing can get near you and you don't really have to do much. You can just keep spreading flames and people will die. Your inspiration deck is going to follow suit with that as well. The inspiration deck is going to be your cards that you draw every turn. That pretty much allows you to modify what you do every single turn. You're going to want things like More is Plenty, Coughing Fire, Flame Geyser, Rocket Jump. These all cast flame or increase the effectiveness of fire that you're going to be constantly casting with this build. Defensively, you're gonna want to get things that support your shield as well. Getting disarming shield or raise shield to double the amount of armor you get, or even going with something like refute damage if you go down the fortification tree, will allow you to defend yourself when it comes to moments that you can't get out of the fire, or if you're surrounded by enemies and they've somehow snuck through your defenses. Another important thing that most likely will that you notice first when playing the class is that it does not generate energy rapidly. It takes a while to get to the point where you have a ton of energy. When you start up the match, you want to bring potions that restore energy so that you can get through your first few matches rather quickly and not spend a ton of time just trying to figure out what to do about this lack of energy. You're gonna want things like Inspiration Strikes, which is gonna give you 3 energy at the start of turn, and other things like Time for Action, which is gonna give you 5 energy when you enter a room, and then 1 energy when you draw the card. These things are gonna help you modify how much energy you constantly have. Even the Vice Plan helps, even though if you get that if you get that energy at the end of the turn, it's still gonna help out because next turn you'll be able to do more with it. When it comes to character skills, you're going to want to focus on getting charge first. Charge is going to be one of the most important things to start off with, because when you jump into charge, you're going to first get damage, get energy for damage taken. After that, you can move over to battery to increase your max energy by 5 points for the first tick. You don't really need much more. I would recommend if you do play in the story mode that you push this to at least the 4th pip to get free uses of skills, which allows you to save energy. You don't really have to when I really think about it, because at this point, if you do go for the T4 in charge first, you'll have a constant recycling of energy. You may only need to go to the T3 on battery so that you have 15 extra energy. But at the point when you get to here, when you have 4 charge, you're really never using energy. You're never running out of energy because almost every enemy you hit is going to be dying at this point. You're going to focus on fire and fortification after that, because the fire will allow you to increase the fire damage you do. It will also give you the geyser skill at the 4th pip, which will pretty much cause all fire on the map to explode, dealing 1 damage to any unit standing in that flame. So if the map is covered in fire and someone's standing on the fire tile, they're going to take extra damage just for being there, and then everyone around them is also taking damage. I would say max out fire, because when you get to the end of it, it also starts putting random fire tiles everywhere, which allows you to kind of just stand there and be like, yeah, I got this, and enemies will just burst into flame and die. Fortification is to keep yourself alive, because there's a lot of times where you're going to be standing around and this fire is going to be spreading everywhere. When you get to the 4th pip of fortification, it's going to give you the refute damage inspiration. This is going to allow you to reduce the amount of damage you take. Reducing your fire damage when late game is going to be doing 15-16 points of damage every tick for the tile that is on fire. This is going to save your life. This will keep you from randomly dying during a roguelike moment, or even during a gameplay session, and you can avoid getting extra wounds. The first 3 ticks of fortification is going to allow you to do field repair, so every time you take damage, you regenerate. The second tip is going to give you leaping fort, which allows you to gain armor on jump, which you're going to be doing a lot, because a lot of times you don't want to be in fire. A lot of times you don't want to take that damage, so you're going to want to jump over something or jump as far as you can away from it before it spreads, to keep your enemies in it, to keep you out of danger. The third tick is going to give you the same thing, so you'll gain 2 armor for every jump that you do, which also can be combined with things like rocket jump and other armor gaining skills that will allow you to gain armor on move. This is pretty much going to be everything that you need up into mid game, and this is going to help you push like do most of the enemies after that. At this point, you're gonna be setting the world aflame, and it's just gonna be amazing. You'll just laugh as you watch the enemies burst into flames and just go crazy. Like, it'll be great. Obsidian Prince is a wonderfully charming voxel art roguelike, and it's now on Steam. Please like, subscribe, and just leave a comment if this video helped you out at all, and let me know what you think of the game. Look forward to weekly video updates on each class on this channel.